everyone, welcome back to my channel So Little Time, and my name is Karen. So I hope you're all doing really well, and thank you very much for joining me today. Today I'm here to share with you all the details about my dress for the Dressmakers Ball. So this is a ball that's held in Leicester at the City Rooms every year and is organised by the ladies at Crafty Sew So. And I really enjoy going to this ball. It's a really nice opportunity to get together with sewing friends, old and new, and to make a dress to attend to it. Now, in the past, I've attended on my own. For the past 2 years, I have actually gone with Angela from Devon Threadtails, and she stayed at my house again this year. So we have had a really lovely weekend together. So thank you, Angela, for coming and staying. And I'm so sorry, it was such a noisy household. My boys are so noisy. But yeah, so this year I did find though that I didn't have as much time on my hands to make such an extravagant dress as I did last year. As if you watched my video last year for my dress, you will know that I went through quite the fitting debacle with the Rose Cafe bustier dress, and I really was so happy with how that turned out in the end, and I felt really glamorous in it, and I have been fortunate enough to wear it again to a wedding recently, and yeah, it was just so nice to wear it, and I absolutely loved the fabric that I made it in. So this time I decided to go a little bit more simpler, and I've had this pattern in my stash for quite a while, and it's the Simple Sew Grace dress and skirt, and there are quite a few different variations that you can kind of put together. On the back here you'll see there's a number of sort of options, but basically you've got a fitted bodice with either a gathered or a box pleated skirt, and then you can either have a v-neck, scoop neck, have it sleeveless, or with cap sleeves. So the option that I decided that I wanted to go for was the scoop neck bodice with the box pleated skirt, and I knew I wanted to use a fabric that would hold the box pleats really well. So I did make a very quick toile of the dress just to check for size, but the good thing about this pattern is that it does give you the finished garment measurements on the back of the packet. And I got this actually free with Love Sewing magazine, which was this one here, and this is issue 30, so I don't know what issue number we're on now, but it was definitely a number of years ago that I've had this. So I'm really glad that I finally got around to making this dress, as it was one that I sort of had in the back of my mind that I wanted to make. And I know that Becky from Notes from the Sewing Room has made, I don't know if she's made the dress, but she's definitely made the skirts before, and I really do like how they looked. And it also comes in 2 different lengths as well, which is like a T-length, I think they call it, dress, and knee length. So I actually went in between the two, because my toile, which I'll insert rubbish selfie that I took in the mirror, you can see that that's really long on me. And so I just felt that that was just way too long for my liking. I'm usually a knee length type of girl. So I decided to sort of go in between the 2 lengths, and I'm really happy with how that turned out. So my fabric I bought from Guthrie and Garney in Birmingham, and it's a beautiful double-sided brocade fabric, and I think I had seen it there previously, but actually didn't really pay any attention properly to it at that time. But when it came around to sort of looking for fabrics for my dress, I found that on Guthrie and Garney, but they had 2 different colourways, and I'll insert the 2 colourways, and I was in 2 minds as to which one to go for, because although I really liked the sort of I think it's maroon and blue, I think it was, colourway, I just felt that that was definitely more sort of evening style wear, and I wanted to have the opportunity to wear this dress again, because I do like to wear dresses, or make dresses that I'm going to wear again, because my first Dressmakers Ball dress that I made about 3 years ago now, 4 years even, I've never worn it again, and it's just been sat in the cupboard, which I think is a real shame. I don't really think I'm going to have an opportunity to wear that again. So yeah, that was why even last year I decided to make something that I knew I was going to be able to wear again. I just didn't want to waste all that beautiful fabric. Yeah, so I'm really glad that I kind of went with this choice. However, I'm going to be completely honest and say that because I was so late in making it, I felt when I finished it, I felt a little bit flat, and I put it on and I just didn't feel very glamorous. And I think it's because of the simple style as well, and also because of the style that I went with. It is my usual fitted bodice and big skirt, you know, to sort of disguise my hip area. And I just felt, yeah, I just looked same old, same old. So next year, I definitely am going to change up my style and try something new. And something different for the Dressmakers Ball. I definitely will attend next year, fingers crossed. Yeah, so, but the fabric I do feel that it made the dress, because it really did hold the box pleats really, really nicely. It was really nice to work with and sew with. However, it did fray so badly that the threads, I'm still finding them now around the house. I think even actually when I was in town on Saturday, there was some in my bag. I don't know how it got in there. They were just everywhere. It frayed so badly. So I had to make sure that I overlocked it at the earliest opportunity during the construction process. But anyway, like I was saying, the two colourways. So I put a poll out on YouTube because I just wasn't sure what colours to go with. And the majority voted for the jade and pink colourway, which does flatter my kid's skin tone really nicely. And I thought, well, yeah, if I ended up wearing this dress, say, to another wedding in the future, it's definitely one that you could wear during the day. It's a nice light kind of colour. It was a very popular choice though. And my friend Liz, who comes to my sewing class, she actually said, I think she sent me a message and said, I've actually bought my fabric for the ball, and she sent me a photo of it. And it was quite funny because as soon as I saw it, I just laughed, because actually on that day, I had picked up my fabric from Guthrie and Garney, which I'd ordered for the collection. And obviously it was exactly the same fabric in the same colourway, but she bought hers from the Fabric Boutique in Ashby de la Zouch. So yeah, it was just really funny. But we made two completely different style dresses. And also there was another lady who was at the ball as well, and she had the same fabric as well. I've never had this happen to me before, but it was just so funny. And it actually became quite the talking point of the evening. A lot of people thought we'd done it by purpose. We hadn't, but everybody was wanting to take photos of us together. So we did get some photos, which was quite nice. And I'll insert a photo here of us on the stairwell in the city rooms. And yeah, you know, you can see that we are wearing all sort of different style dresses. But yeah, absolutely beautiful fabric. So without further ado, I shall show you my dress. So I've just got it stabilised here on the thing. So I wore it with my trusty clear necklace that I wear every year. It goes with so much. My mum got me that from Marks and Spencer's a few years ago. And then I also wore it with my fluffy bolero little cardigan that I got from a charity shop, but it was originally from Monsoon. I don't know if they're trading anymore, I'm not sure. And I wore it with some little hoop earrings, which was very similar to this blue colourway. So it is a fully lined bodice on the dress. So I'm just going to take this off so I can show you. So I went with the sleeveless option. And as you can see, it's fully lined. So I just used some like slippy lining style fabric that I got from Felicity fabrics, and I actually used this on the sleeve lining of my raincoat, which I will share in a future video. So yeah, I just thought that would contrast really nicely with the green in the colour of the fabric. And the background of this fabric, it's like a very light pink champagne-y kind of colour, and it's got a shimmer to it, which isn't really showing up on the screen very well at all. Perhaps if it was sunny, I could show you it and it would glitter a little bit more, but it's disgusting weather today. It's absolutely pouring. And then it has a waistband here, which is double-sided as well. And then it's got the gorgeous box pleats on the skirt. And I do like this style of dress. I do like a 50s sort of style silhouette in sort of, you know, dresses that you're going to be wearing out to events and that kind of thing. So I ended up cutting it in between the T-length and the knee length. And I really liked how that looked. So to give a bit of stability to the actual hem, I decided I was going to use bias binding like I usually do. However, I didn't quite have enough bias binding in my stash to go around the full circumference of the bottom of the skirt. So I actually ended up using some tape that I had. So I'm going to see if I can try and show you this. And I quite like how that looks actually. So I just sort of stitched it onto the very bottom of the overlocked edge of the hem, and then folded it in and top stitched it down using a thread that basically matched this. And then on the other side you can hardly see my stitching line, so I'm quite pleased with that. So it hasn't left too much of an indent, and there you can see the reverse side of the fabric, which is really, really beautiful. I do really like that side as well, so it was a shame to sort of cover it up. And initially I thought, oh, you know, maybe I could use the reverse for the waistband, but then I thought, no, I didn't want to break the flow of the dress up. And then at the back, it's got an invisible zip. And I think I had just a cream one. That was the only colour that I could get. I went to Hobbycraft, they didn't have any other colours. They only have a very small selection of colours in invisible zips. So I've got it invisible, so it's just the pulley you can see at the top there. My insertion on the other way around, if I move the necklace out of the way, not so great. You know, I didn't get those tape bits in, yeah, but the insertion of the zip overall went okay, and I've matched up the waistband seam and everything, so I'm quite pleased with that. And it zips up nicely, because I was a little bit worried with the thickness of this fabric that it was going to get caught, but it hasn't done, and it's really comfortable. Now, this pattern comes in sizes 8 through to 20. And it tells you what dress fabric requirements you need for a 45-inch and a 60-inch wide fabric. And then it tells you the finished garment measurements for the bust, waist and hips for all of the sizes. So looking at the finished garment measurements, I decided to go for the size 14, which is a finished waist measurement of 33 inches, because my waist is about a 31 inch at the minute. And I thought, you know, I want enough wiggle room in there to enjoy a meal, and obviously drinking as well. So I know it gets hot in there, and you know, you expand a little bit, don't you, when you get hot. So yeah, I went with that option. But the finished bust measurement for the 14 was 39.5 inches. Now my bust is probably about 35 to 36 inch at the minute. And so I thought that that was perhaps a little bit too much ease around my bust area, and it was actually. So what I ended up having to do was, when I put the zip in, I just had to use a bigger seam allowance. Like, it kind of came down like a, you know, an angle, the way I've taken it in. So this section up here has been squashed in a lot smaller, and then I tapered back out to the 5/8 of an inch seam allowance to get it to fit me right. So yeah, that's what I did. Just used a bigger wedge at the top. I can feel actually the seam allowance is right over here. So it's gone like kind of like that on both sides. And that's just the way I got around it. You know, I didn't bother grading between two sizes, because again, I still wanted enough sort of room around my bust area that it wasn't going to be too tight. It has darts here on the front rather than bust darts. And when I first made the toile up, I was surprised that they didn't line up with the box pleats, but I double checked that I traced off the correct darts there, and I had done. And I looked at all the photos in the magazine and on the piece of the fabric envelope itself, but it's not overly clear, if I'm honest, you know, that they should be where they should actually be sitting. So I just went with where they fell on me when I sewed them, because they were comfortable and it looked like it was right on the bodice. So even though it's not actually lined up with any box pleat, I think it's fine. Also, it's quite busy fabric, so I don't think you really notice it, especially when it's being worn. So I will try this on for you in a minute so you can see it on me, and at the end of this video I'll insert some photos and some video footage. I didn't really take much myself with my camera. I was having too much of a good time. So I have relied on other people sending me photos that they took and videos as well. So I will credit those people when I put the videos in. So because I do quite like a poofy style skirt, I decided to wear a petticoat underneath again, like I did last year. But I decided that my blue one perhaps wasn't the right colour, also I thought at the time, because this is more of a jade rather than a blue. And so I ordered from Amazon a pink petticoat to go with it. Let me just put this down. So I ordered this pink petticoat from Amazon, which is very similar to the one that I ordered last year to go under my bluey kind of dress. But it just didn't have as much poof as my previous one, and it's not as good quality, and it's just a bit flat. So I thought, oh, well, that's a shame, because it didn't really poof it out as much as I wanted it to. So in the end, I got my blue one out as well. And as you can see, this one's just a little bit more, been attacked, a bit more crisper, and is a lot more poofy. So what I ended up doing was wearing both of them. And I thought, well, you know, if you can't wear two petticoats to a ball, where can you wear them to? So yeah, I wore the two together. And actually, this blue contrasts quite nicely with the jade and pink, and because I lined it in that blue fabric as well, it all coordinated really, really nicely. But to be honest, you couldn't really see the petticoats when I was sitting down with it, because my skirt was slightly longer than these petticoats. They weren't as visible as it was last year, but it did the job of sticking out the skirt like I wanted it to. But I can wear that dress without a petticoat underneath absolutely fine, you know, if I want a less poofy kind of look. So I thought I'd just turn the dress inside out for you so you can see that this is the lining. So again, it's just exactly the same the way you do the pattern as per the outside, and the way you sew it together so it's all seamless is that you attach it together at the shoulder seams on the outer and inner fabric, and then attach it around the neckline, and you pull it, I think you sew the armholes and then you pull it through the shoulder seam, and then it encases all the raw edges. What mistake I did make once I'd done that was I'd actually forgotten to understitch, so I had to sort of turn it back through again and understitch as best as I could around the neckline here to stop the fabric rolling out, because this brocade fabric was very, very hard to press. So what I did was use my pressing cloth and a good amount of steam on the iron with quite a bit of heat, and then I used my wooden clapper to press the seams, and that really helped to sort of flatten out because it was very bouncy. And I tried not to over press the box pleats because I didn't want to flatten them out too much, but they were quite bouncy as well. And even on my seams, trying to get those to lay flat was quite hard as well. But yeah, I thought I'd show you that you can see it's got the lined waistband. Usually you would put the bottom of the waistband folded under and hand sew it, but in the past when I've hand sewn a waistband or any kind of lining, I've always found that it's come undone with wear, and my hand sewing just isn't up to scratch. So I decided I wanted to sew that better, but actually I did hand sew it. I thought I stitched in the ditch, but I didn't. No. So what I decided to do was leave the overlocking as it is visible there, and I just used white. It's fine. And then I actually hand sewed at the bottom, catching it to the box pleats, and then try not to show any of the stitches on the outside of the fabric. And I feel that that's worked really well, so I don't mind that the actual that's visible, you know, because the reason I didn't fold it under and hand sew it that way is because it would have added a little bit too much bulk around the waistline because it is such a thick fabric, and I just felt that that perhaps would have come undone, whereas doing it this way, it just, I think it won't come undone. Yeah, and then you can see at the bottom the lovely tape detail, which I think looks really nice. It contrasts really nicely on there, and that's just something I had in my stash, so I feel quite good that I've used quite a bit of fabric that I already had in my stash as well. And then as you can see, the zip here, and that I just, when I sewed the lining into place, I obviously did that by machine, and you fold it kind of right sides together to get it to yeah, I think I've actually caught the zip on that bit there, which is a bit of a shame. Yeah, it looks like I've ripped it a little bit. And yeah, that bit just looks a little bit messy, but it's on the inside, it's fine. But I'm just happy with the waistband and the fact that that all lined up really nicely. So yeah, really pleased with my dress overall then. So I should just go and get changed into it, and then you can see what it looks like on me. Right, so I've got it on. I haven't put the petticoats on with it at the minute. I just thought I'd show it you without first. And as you can see, it's got a lovely fitted bodice, and then it's got the waistband here, which sits on my natural waist. And then if I turn around, you can see that it fits really nicely across the back as well, especially where I've took it in at the back zip. And then if I pan you down, I do have a little bit of gaping here, and I think that's because I have a hollow chest, and I think perhaps would have needed to have taken a section out of there, but when I made the toile I didn't have that issue. I don't know if it's this fabric. Yeah, and then this is the box pleated skirt. I'm sorry, it's gone really dark. I don't know if we're going to get a thunderstorm. Yeah, and so that's the box pleated skirt without the petticoat underneath, so you can see that it's quite full in itself already, without even having the petticoats on, and it's really comfortable. There's enough room around here for me to maneuver and have a meal and stuff like that, so it's not too tight on my waist at all, so that fits just perfectly, I think. But yeah, I really like this style of bodice. I think it is quite a flattering one. It's not too low. It's quite nice to not have too much boob on display this time, because I do tend to fiddle a little bit when I've got my boobs out a little bit, but I shall pop the petticoats on underneath just so you can see how much of a difference that adds to it. But yeah, this fabric is really, really gorgeous. I don't know if you can see a little bit of the shimmer to it there, just a little bit. So yeah, it's really quite pretty having that. And I wore it with I think it was my gold shoes that I also bought from the charity shop, and I wore those last year and with my other dress, and so they get worn as well. So I will always try and keep the colour scheme similar to the accessories that I've got. Oh, and one thing I did forget actually, which I will show you as well, so I'll just put the petticoats on, is that I made a bag to go with this, and I used the reverse side of the fabric, and I'm really pleased with how that turned out. So I'll be back in a moment. Right, I've got the petticoats on now, so I'll show you what that looks like, so you can just see that it is just slightly more poofed out. There you are, and there you can see the blue and the pink kind of together, and I just thought that was just a bit of added fun factor to it, really. Yeah, I think these box pleats need a little bit of pressing to get them to sit right again, but I think they were okay on the day, I think. But I've had it on my mannequin since it's been back. But yeah, it was just a bit of fun. But the bag that I made was the Sew Over It bow bag, and it's a really nice little sort of boxed kind of purse, which is really straightforward to make. It was a little bit difficult to work with this fabric because it frayed so much, and I used the reverse side but kept that bit the same as my outer fabric, not that you can really tell the difference, but yeah, I was really pleased with that. And you can just, you know, pop your hand in it and you kind of hold it like that. So yeah, and it was actually quite deceiving, the amount that you can fit in here. I've actually put some fabric in it just to hold the shape whilst it's stored away, so I'll just take that out. But I just lined mine with the fabric that I had left over with from my Felicity Fabrics dress that I recently made. Yeah, as you can see, you can get quite a lot in there. So I got actually 2 phones in there because I use my iPhone for the camera only, and I've put in there some makeup, my keys, my money, and cards and things like that. Yes, I've got quite a bit in there, and I'll insert a photo of my bag with Liz's, because she made one as well, but she made it out of the same fabric as her outer dress, like mine. Yes, that was quite funny. We were sat next to each other in our same fabric dresses and our same fabric bags. But yeah, I was really pleased to make that, and Liz actually helped me at my sewing group to make this bag, because it's been a long time since I've made a bag, and although I was trying to follow the instructions, I was trying to get it done and dusted within the 3-hour session so that it was ready. So I was sewing my accessory on the Thursday, and Liz had finished her accessory and her dress, and then Annette, who also comes to my sewing group, she was still in the midst of sewing her dress up, and I was scaring her, I was saying, you do realise we only have 2 days to go? She was like, yes, I know, thank you, Karen. But yeah, she got it done for the evening and she looked amazing. So I'll insert a photo of the 3 of us sat at the table. So, they are such good fun, those 2 ladies. So it was really nice to sit next to them. And yeah, I'm really pleased with my bag. So yeah, I look forward to wearing this dress again in the future. But like I say, I do want to sort of steer away from my usual style and try and have a go at making something a little bit different for next year. And I also want to make sure that I start it earlier, because I had quite a lot on during September. It's a busy month for me. It's start of school. It was Harry's birthday, Simon's birthday, our wedding anniversary. I also had to do a video for Project Dress a Girl, and we are starting to look at doing the hashtag Sew Up Cycle 23, myself and Becky from Notes from the Sewing Room, and putting all that together, as well as doing the Felicity Fabrics blog for my Hazel dress. So I had quite a lot on, and I have to say the Hazel dress actually took me longer than this dress, so it was quite nice that this was a simple make. But yeah, I just want to be a little bit more maybe extravagant next year, a little bit out of my comfort zone with a different style, try a different pattern. I mean, I've not made this pattern before, but I have used Simple Sew before. Maybe try a different pattern designer or something. So yeah, we shall see how I feel next year as to what I go ahead and make. But right, what I will do then before I say goodbye is just to insert some photos and video footage that I did manage to take in the garden with Angela, and some video footage that I think Angela took of me on the catwalk, and a few other photos. Yeah, I have been very self-critical about my photos. I keep nitpicking at myself, and I need to stop that, because yeah, you know, it was a good night. I really enjoyed it, and I just need to be like, yeah, it was good fun. And we had a lovely brunch the following day at a cafe in Leicester. I'm not going to say the name of the place because I can never say it, and I'll put it across the bottom of the screen. And they really do some lovely food there. So if you're ever in Leicester, I do recommend there, as I think they do quite a lot of plant-based foods as well. So that was really nice just to see everybody the next morning. And I have to say, me and Angela weren't feeling the best. We don't drink very much, yeah, which you could tell. Anyway, I shall leave you with the photos and video footage. Enjoyed that. Thank you very much for watching today. I hope you found this video fun and informative. Please do give me that all important like and subscribe if you've not already done so. That would be lovely, and I shall see you all again soon. Take care. Bye.